couples like Roseanne and Tom Arnold.
She's very fertile. She's had 4 children.
Yes.
So, and I am too, by the way.
Oh, good. Steve and Edie.
And we'll find out the secret to this successful marriage. Clint Black and Lisa Hartman.
I told her if I'd have seen some of the characters you played, I would have run for my life.
And Peter Jennings and his wife, Connie Martin.
It's America's Favorite Couples coming up on the next slide. Monday at 9.
Right here on Channel 7.
The shocking real-life story of Bud and Blue, the late movie at 11:30.
This is Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Harry Martin and Sarah Wallace. Mark Stevens with sports. Bill Evans with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Harry Martin. It is a sad farewell tonight for 3 members of a family struck down by a suspected drunk driver on New Year's Day. And it was an emotional scene this afternoon on 70th Avenue in Forest Hills as friends and family carry the 3 caskets to awaiting hearses. Hundreds of people turned out for the services. Celeste Ford has more in the story.
They said farewell at the airport and then placed 3 caskets on a cargo jet bound for Israel. 48-year-old Aaron Mirzayeva, his 51-year-old wife Myra, and their 16-year-old daughter Alla will be buried there. They were run down by an allegedly drunk driver on New Year's Day, leaving behind 3 daughters in a country they've known only 3 years.
I'm very thankful for them and grateful because we were a great family.
Earlier, hundreds of mourners packed a Jewish community center in Forest Hills. Their faces bore a profound grief. Like the Mirzayeva family, many emigrated from the former Soviet Union. Now 3 of their own are dead. They were crossing Queens Boulevard near 83rd Avenue when police say they were hit by a speeding car. 44-year-old Carlisle Thompson of Kew Gardens was charged with driving while intoxicated and criminally negligent homicide.
There are no words in the English language that can justify the tragedy and the sense of loss that we feel today.
The fatal accident has renewed concerns over safety along Queens Boulevard. It's already considered one of the deadliest thoroughfares in the city. In 1992, 3 pedestrians were killed here. The year before that, 11 pedestrians. Queens Boulevard is 6 lanes wide with few crosswalks. As Eyewitness News has reported, cars often exceed the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit, and pedestrians jaywalk, a deadly combination, especially with alcohol. Today, mourners called for justice while trying to make sense of an unexplainable loss. In Forest Hills, Celeste Ford, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
44-year-old Carlisle Thompson is being held on $50,000 bond after pleading not guilty to drunken driving charges. Sarah?
Harry, the nearly week-old search for 10-year-old Katie Beers is getting colder tonight. Suffolk County police are backtracking old leads and retracing the girl's steps. Katie disappeared last Monday after reportedly being taken to this arcade by a family friend. Shortly afterward, she left a frantic message on her godmother's answering machine saying she had been taken by a man with a knife. Meantime, Katie's 16-year-old brother, John, is charged tonight with assaulting their mother, punching her in the head during a domestic dispute. A New York City police officer is facing suspension without pay tonight, as well as some tough questions. Kenneth Schleisman was off duty early yesterday morning, sitting in his car with an 18-year-old woman on an Astoria Queen Street. Police say the woman accidentally shot herself in the chest with Schleisman's revolver. The woman, whose name is not being released, is hospitalized in stable condition. Harry?
Also tonight, a black man from New York City is in critical condition after being set on fire by several white men who kidnapped him at gunpoint and yelled racial slurs. Now, police say that it happened on New Year's morning in Valrico, Florida. That is near Tampa. The man is identified as 31-year-old Christopher Wilson, who has 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his body. Detectives are playing down the racial overtones in this case. They say that robbery was the primary motive for this attack, but the men reportedly said to Wilson, "We got one and we've got another one to go." One of the holiest days of the year for Roman Catholics has been marred by an act of theft. Someone stole the baby Jesus statue at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church in Lower Manhattan. But on the Feast of Epiphany, parishioners still have the spirit of the holiday. Mass this morning at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church sounded joyous, but there is sadness here. Someone stole the baby Jesus statue yesterday. A replacement was found, but for this mostly Latino parish, the church has been violated in a cruel fashion, and this isn't the first time.
It's terrible. During the springtime, we had the loss of one of the Stations of the Cross, and thank God it was recovered. And now we're hit with this, and we're a very poor church, and we really relish having our own statues and all of the things that we use in our devotions.
The nativity scene is a vital part of the Feast of Epiphany. According to the Bible, this is when the three wise men came, bearing gifts, to see the newborn king.
Either someone who has a very deep devotion to the child Jesus and who wanted this particular child for whatever reason in their home has taken it. And if that's the case, I hope they will return it. Or someone else has come into the church and then tried to sell it.
This comes at a time when churches in the city are reporting an increase in robberies and vandalism. Catholic churches are particularly vulnerable because they uphold the tradition of providing sanctuary. That means that they are open throughout most of the day.
These have to be places for people to come and to pray. We're going to have to find other ways of being able to remain open and still allow our people their time in prayer and devotion.
Father Precourt says he can't afford a security guard, so he may ask his parishioners to volunteer their time to watch over the church. In the meantime, he says he is just going to pray that the statue is returned.
Mayor Dinkins is preparing tonight for his State of the City address tomorrow. He's expected to propose a number of initiatives to strengthen neighborhoods. Among the specifics, expanding library service to 6 days at all branches and keeping more schools open after classroom hours for community activities. Well, New York School Chancellor has proposed being more open about gay lifestyles. But tonight, a religious right group sponsored by televangelist Pat Robertson is jumping into that curriculum controversy. And tolerance of homosexuals is not on their lesson plan. Jada Dapper has details.
The battle for the hearts and minds of New York City school kids is being joined by the religious right's richest and most powerful political group. The Christian Coalition, headed by TV preacher and former presidential candidate Pat Robertson, is planning on running candidates in the May local school board elections here. Their hot issue, Chancellor Joseph Fernandez's embattled rainbow curriculum that stresses tolerance of gays and lesbians to grade school kids.
We've seen the debate over the last several months. They've taken a curriculum guide and distorted, taking 2 paragraphs out of 443 pages and make political capital.
Indeed, the groundwork has already been laid by the local Family Defense Council, which has fought what its chairman calls the homosexual propaganda inherent in the rainbow curriculum. Howard Hurwitz denies published reports that his group is linked with Robertson's, but welcomes their efforts.
If they want to bring the weight of their heavy finances, which I don't pretend to have, into this battle to restore traditional family values, be my guest.
In the past few years, the Christian Coalition has successfully targeted local school board elections in which few voters turn out. And that is exactly the situation here in New York, where local board 24 President Mary Cummins last won with just 346 votes. She is the woman who has spearheaded the fight against the gay and feminist sections of the rainbow curriculum.
I must be doing in this building what the people in this area want me to do, or they wouldn't have sent me back 5 times.
Both sides say they'd like to see a higher turnout in local school board elections, but experts say more voters usually means more trouble for the religious right. Of course, with the wild card here of teaching elementary school kids about gays, all bets may be off. On the west side, J.D. Dapper, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And when we come back, the future of relations between the United States and Russia just got a little bit brighter. President Bush and Boris Yeltsin signed an historic agreement that they say will make the world a more secure place to live in.
Plus, the head of the United Nations visits Somalia, but there are violent signs he is not welcome. And there are reports of gunfire by Israelis dangerously close to the area where hundreds of deported Palestinians are camped out.
Grandma, can I have some more soup, please?
My goodness, I'm so glad it's buy one, get one free week at Pathmark.
Look for this circular, and starting Sunday, get Country Pride chicken breast. Buy one, get one free. Cheerios cereal, buy one, get one free. Pepsi Diet Pepsi or sliced, 99 cents. Stouffer's Lean Cuisine, 50% off. For buy one, get one free items and savings that count, count on Pathmark, your place to really save.
Count on Pathmark.
It only happens once a year.
And the 14th annual Toyotathon Year-End Challenge is in its final hours.
Which region will get to its goal first?
It's neck and neck, Squire, and we're counting down.
Time is running out, so take advantage of the big incentives and even bigger option package savings.
We're making it easy with a great selection and immediate delivery.
Even on Toyota T100. Plus, there's a special Corolla lease program.
Who's going to win this challenge?
You are, with a great deal on the Toyota of your choice.
The Toyotathon Year-End Challenge ends tomorrow. That's it.
That's it.
Do you know that children spend more time in front of the TV than in front of their teachers? In a moment, tips to make TV time a learning time.
I love this place. They don't call me Mac because I drive this truck, and they don't call me Big because I like small portions. So when they said, Big Mac, you got to try this new double supreme burger, I was all mouth. See, anybody can fry up a couple of burgers, but Burger King flame broils those babies. You pile on the pickles, the lettuce, the cheese, and that Thousand Island sauce. All right. Now that this Big Mac can get a double supreme meal for $2.99, I just might have to change my name.
It's your way, right away. Use TV as a bridge to reading and learning. Choose programs with your child and watch them together. Discuss storylines and encourage follow-up reading. Ask your child to describe favorite characters to increase verbal skills. Watching TV can be a fun way to teach children and to make learning a family affair.
President Bush capped off his 4 years on the world stage today, signing an historic nuclear weapons reduction treaty with President Boris Yeltsin in Moscow. Mr. Bush later flew to Paris for a farewell dinner with French President François Mitterrand. He's now heading back to Washington, bringing to a close his last and one of his most important overseas trips. It was a fitting end to President Bush's tenure, since many of his biggest accomplishments had been chalked up in the international arena. At a ceremony today in Moscow, the two former Cold War adversaries signed START II. The treaty will reduce each country's nuclear arsenals by 2/3.
Today, the Cold War is over, and for the first time in history, an American president has set foot in a democratic Russia. And together, we're now embarked on what must be the noblest mission of all, to turn an adversarial relationship into one of friendship and partnership.
It's that partnership President Yeltsin hopes to keep going after Mr. Bush leaves office. Yeltsin has already proposed an early summit with President-elect Clinton.
2 days ago, I sent him a letter where I proposed that there should be no lull in our relations with the new administration.
Later, both presidents said their farewells. Mr. Bush then flew on to Paris, where he met with France's head of state, and he gave his successor a vote of confidence as a world leader.
We got a lot of problems in Europe, and I just can assure this president that I think Governor Clinton will be a good man to work with.
One of those problems President-elect Clinton will inherit is the conflict in Bosnia. Today, both Presidents Bush and Mitterrand say they are still hopeful that a diplomatic solution can be reached to save that war-torn country. But they also said they will move quickly to enforce a no-fly zone over Bosnia if peace talks fail. Harry?
UN Secretary General Boutros Ghali has wrapped up a weekend trip to Somalia, one that was filled with noisy protests. While in Mogadishu, Boutros Ghali was forced to seek shelter in the United States Embassy as protesters pelted the UN headquarters with stones. The demonstrators blamed the Secretary General for their country's collapse. Despite the unfriendly welcome, Boutros Ghali is optimistic for peace.
1993 will be the year of reconstruction, reconciliation, and rehabilitation.
Boutros Ghali now heads to Ethiopia, where he's going to hold informal peace talks with Somalia's 12 major political factions. Israel's army has reportedly fired into South Lebanon near the camp where the 400 deported Palestinians have been stranded since last month. The army claims that it fired at suspicious figures moving toward its declared security zone. No injuries have been reported. Israel expelled the Palestinians on December the 17th. They have been stuck in a virtual no-man's land ever since because Lebanon refuses to admit them.
Coming up next, a very big day in football.
Number 3 Indiana takes on number 4 Kentucky, and we will have the outcome. Plus, the greatest football comeback in playoff history as Houston goes head-to-head with Buffalo.
If you still think a foreign car can give you more for your money, think again. The Ford Taurus has won more major awards than any other car, even Honda Accord. With available anti-lock brakes and dual airbags, you can get more safety features for the money. And with a standard V6, Taurus has more power and costs less. Now, doesn't that strike Accord?
Now you can lease a new Ford Taurus for just $248 a month with a red carpet lease through Ford Credit.
Now, more car for the money isn't such a foreign idea. See your Ford dealer today.
Les Miserables, the world's most popular musical. Call 239-6200. Don't miss it. New York. It's a city not just of people, but of traditions that preserve the past and enrich the present. At Home Savings of America, the nation's largest savings bank, we have a tradition of conservative investing that's made people like you feel secure for more than 100 years. Home Savings of America.
I love this place. They don't call me Mac because I drive this truck, and they don't call me Big because I like small portions. So when they said, Big Mac, you got to try this new double Supreme burger, I was all mouth. See, anybody can fry up a couple of burgers, but Burger King flame broils those babies. You pile on the pickles, the lettuce, the cheese, and that Thousand Island sauce. All right. Now that this Big Mac can get a double Supreme meal for $2.99, I just might have to change my name.
It's your way, right away.
The divorce is over, and now the real battle begins.
He wants me in financial bondage to her the rest of her life.
Alimony. Is it getting your fair share?
I just want part of what I put into the marriage.
Or getting a raw deal?
Shame, shame, shame on this system that'll destroy a man.
John, you're a deadbeat.
She can sure go out there and work and earn a living.
Alimony Wars on the next offer.
Tomorrow at 4, followed by Eyewitness News here on Channel 7.
Scott Clark is here tonight with a ton of sports and one for the record books, yes?
Simply put, for the record books, both in records broken and in the annals of games to remember, really. The Buffalo Bills, they find themselves down 35-3 at home against the Houston Oilers. This one went past playoff marks. This was the most spectacular comeback in NFL history, period. The Bills down the Oilers 41-38 in overtime to advance to round 2 of the playoffs in Pittsburgh next week. We take you to Buffalo, home of the Buffalo chip off the old block. Captain Fantastic and friends, but they were bummed, purely bummed by what this man Warren Moon did in the first half. 19 of 22 for 218 yards, 4 touchdowns in 4 possessions. That one to Curtis Duncan made it 21-3 Houston. The Oilers still getting us oiled up. It's Moon this time to Haywood Jeffries. Beats Nate. And to think they did all this without Thurman Thomas, the Bills, who was injured early in the second half. They did it all. Steve Christie with the 32-yard field goal, and that is it. Without Jim Kelly, who was injured, without Thurman Thomas, and without a prayer, the Bills come back and eliminate the Oilers 41-38 in OT.
Dreams of an opportunity to be able to kick that last field goal to win it for you, and this is my first playoff game, and I mean, I just can't be more happy than I am now.
The guys on the team were just so encouraging, kept me up when it could have been real easy to get down, especially after the interception to start the second half. But, you know, it was a very emotional, still is a very emotional time for me.
We never gave up. The offense didn't give up when they came out, and they gave up that first touchdown. They didn't give up. I think that shows the character of this team.
Certainly does. Now over in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. They're in the fourth quarter. The Saints lead the Eagles 20-10. College hoops today. While Norm Stewart of Missouri gained his 600th collegiate coaching victory over North Carolina Asheville 99-56, Indiana's Bobby Knight was looking for his 600th career win. His fourth-ranked Hoosiers took on third-ranked Kentucky. After trailing by 6 at the half, Calvert Chaney, who had 29, gave Indiana its first lead of the second half. 72-68, they built the lead, Indiana, until Travis Ford went bombs away with 2 straight three-pointers, count them. He had 29, 8 of them coming in the final 3 minutes, giving Rick Pitino's crew an 81-78 advantage. The Hoosiers had 1 shot left to tie. Damon Bailey could not hit. Kentucky holds on to deny Knight of his 600th career win. Now, last night in Syracuse, Villanova led from start to finish against the Orange. Calvin Bird contributing there. The Wildcats remained in control. Jonathan Haynes, 19 points, led 5 Wildcats in double figures. Villanova sends 12th-ranked Syracuse down to their second straight loss. The final there was 79-61.
All right, Southern Cal has called a news conference for later tonight to announce the rehiring of John Robinson as head football coach of the Trojans. In another college gridiron note, Washington State quarterback Drew Bledsoe expected to announce tomorrow that he will forego his senior year and go for the NFL. Finally, late last night, Georgia Dome Peach Bowl, North Carolina fell behind 14-0 to win it 21-17. The Tar Heels, winners in their first bowl appearance since 1986. They just flipped out last night. That was Bracy Walker, too. He did it all. I'm Scott Clark. That's it for sports. Sorry, Bill. The Mississippi State goes down.
You have to show that.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks,
All right.
Scotty. Well, it started out as a pretty chilly winter day.
But we can expect some changes in the near future. Bill Evans will have the AccuWeather forecast coming up next.
Mississippi.
Anything it takes. During the Dodge year-end sell-a-thon, we'll do anything it takes. Starting with $1,200 total savings on Grand Caravan. No, $1,700. How about $2,150? Anything it takes. $2,000 total savings on Ram 150. Hey, I really like you. Over $4,100. Plus, immediate delivery, on-the-spot financing, low-down payment. Anything. At the Dodge year-end sell-a-thon. Anything it takes.
Thanks to our home equity loan from Statewide Capital, we were able to add a playroom for Susan.
1-800-DIAL-CASH.
Thanks to our home equity loan from Statewide Capital, we lowered our monthly expenses by consolidating our bills.
1-800-DIAL-CASH.
1-800-DIAL-CASH. For years, homeowners have been calling us for fast, simple home equity loans. I'm John Green for Statewide Capital. We make borrowing money easy, even if you've been turned down by the bank or have past credit problems. So remember, Statewide Capital lends money fast. Call 1-800-DIAL-CASH.
The doctor a call, you have to keep up with the latest medicine for your family. Like Robitussin cough drops from the people whose cough medicine is recommended by more doctors and pharmacists.
Try this, it works.
Robitussin cough drops have an active ingredient that speeds relief right to your cough to soothe and medicate.
Try this. It works.
Robitussin cough drops. Cough drops from the cough experts.
I got tired of every radio station sounding the same. So, the other day, I was dialing around for something different. And I found a station I really liked. It was the country station, 103.5. What a surprise. It wasn't at all what I expected. Today's country is great music. It really has changed. And I guess I have, too.
Try today's new country music on the New Country 103.5.
In case you're wondering what happens to your discarded Christmas trees, they're going to be chipped and mulched and turned into compost. Queens, Bronx, and Brooklyn residents can take their trees to collection points such as this one in Cunningham Park. In Manhattan and Staten Island, the trees are going to be picked up on designated days.
A little environmentally conscious, that's important.
Good. Very good. They make dunes with them out on Long Island, you know. You can take them and bury them, and the dune will build up onto the trees. It's really good stuff to do.
Recycle everything.
Not a good day to go to the beach, however, today. Cold, a little ice fell earlier today. That made roads very slippery. But out west, just the besieging nature of the winter continues across the Tahoe area and the Truckee area out there in Nevada. They had another winter storm that packed in another 12 inches of snow there, 24 in some spots. Look at this. Boy, that is just nature's wrath on the west, and that's just the way it's been this year so far. They continue to get over 200 inches of snowfall totals in some of the mountainous areas around some of the ski slopes. Well, this is what's going on for us this hour. 41 degrees, humidity 79%, and the barometer has been falling a little bit as a little upper level system is moving out and an area of rain is passing through. It started out as a little frozen rain. It's made some roadways slippery north and west of the city. However, now the winds are out of the south and the temperature is rising. So we're at the high for the day already, which with the 27 for the low overnight is 1 degree above normal for this time of the year. Now, here's what's very important. Look at these satellite pictures quickly tonight, because here's the area of rain that we're talking about. This is an area that we were watching yesterday that's very unstable. It brought a lot of snow and freezing rain and slippery roads to Chicago. Here's a cold front that is working its way down through the Chicago area. We'll be moving our way tomorrow. But in this unstable air mass right here across the area, there's been some freezing rain along Route 17. And when we look at the radar, Route 17 out in Orange and Sullivan County, right here in the western portion of southeastern New York, that little area right there has frozen roadways in some of those hilly areas, and some of these inland valleys in Jersey seeing a little frozen rain. That's going to taper off in the next few hours, but it is making roadways impassable there, and motorists have had to stop and just wait until things thaw out. That will continue for a couple of more hours if you're going to be in that area. But tomorrow will be a very mild day. We'll have cloudy skies. The temperature with the winds coming out of the south all day long going to push in a lot of warm moisture. So that's warm air riding in over cooler air that creates what we call overrunning, and that'll give us cloudy skies. Maybe some brightening skies late in the day and maybe a little sunshine, but by Tuesday, this low-pressure system and cold front comes in, giving us what may be about a half-inch of rain. So tomorrow, behind that, more icy conditions. If you're traveling to Chicago, it'll be another mess there tomorrow with rain, sleet, snow mixed in there, maybe a little gloom of night in between, and out toward the west, there'll be sunshine, but cold from the plains out to the Pacific coast. Well, the AccuWeather forecast for the rest of this evening will be like this. Maybe a little rain, a little light rain, a little drizzle, but temperatures are going to be rising, so do not expect Monday morning tomorrow to be like the commute last Monday, in which we had all the frozen roadways. It'll just be cloudy, breezy, and milder tomorrow. No repeat of that frozen weather like last week. Well, the 5-day outlook from AccuWeather, rain on Tuesday and a good batch of it, and then we'll still see mild temperatures for this time of the year. Friday is the day we'll begin to see a cold wave, and I think after this next week, we're going to see some really cold weather. Some of the coldest of the season coming in a week.
The winter's going to really hit.
About that time. All right. Well, that's the news for now. For Sarah Wallace, Bill Evans, Scott Clark, and the rest of the Eyewitness News team, I'm Harry Martin. Join us again at 11 o'clock tonight.